Welcome to the Work Behind the Vows.
Brought to you by Healing is a Lifestyle.
Around here, we have real conversations discussing daily choices and the healing work that holds marriages together.
Yes, we're two whole people on a healing journey, and we're so excited that you're going on this journey with us. We can't wait till you dig into this week's episode. All right, let's do it.
This is episode 2. So if you made it to this episode, you here.
Congrats.
You sticking with us.
Congrats.
Good
You're
job.
still married.
Good job.
All right.
We're still married. Still married. It's only been 5 seconds, but we're still married.
Yeah.
Episode 2, the hidden connection killers.
Right.
Got lost right there.
Yeah.
Porn, pornography, comparison, and emotional clutter.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about this week. But what? Give a little recap. Like what was?
Yeah.
Last
So
week?
last week, I think, which is going to go into this episode. Last week we talked about what happens when you no longer feel attracted to your spouse and why that may be and what is happening, what caused that disconnect.
Yeah.
Right. So this week is like, what are some of the things that can truly cause that disconnect to happen? And what can we do about it? So
it's like, what are the habits and the mindsets that are quietly
For sure.
pulling your heart away from your spouse?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Today, like I said, we're going to talk about porn. We're going to talk about comparison. We're going to talk about resentment. We're going to get real with the get real.
Yeah.
And we're going to jump right in with talking about like porn and how, when I say porn, short for pornography,
Right.
Don't want to get too urban slangy on y'all. But let's talk about how that has impacted our marriage, if it still impacts today, and then our early marriage. I think our early marriage is really where it had the most impact.
For sure. So like what I would say is one of the things that we have to just acknowledge is, that we're always going to acknowledge in our marriage is when you do not have a relationship with God, meaning you're intentionally seeking God throughout this process of being married or life, period. When you're not doing that, then that means that you don't have a governor. So therefore, you ultimately are going to be disconnected from people. If you're disconnected from God, then you're going to be disconnected from your spouse.
That's
you're going to
right.
be disconnected from your kids, because that means that if you're not if you're not connected to the source, then what are you connected to? You're connected to the world.
To the world, absolutely.
You're connected to money or business or your flesh or whatever. So we have to be aware of those things. And I would say, like with pornography, very early on, it's a spirit of lust. Being honest, it's lust, and if you're not strong in the relationship with God, or you're thinking that you're keeping this part of you a secret or whatever, then that now becomes your
stronghold.
God. Yes, and stronghold. This is the thing that begins to take over your life. And now that causes a disconnect, because let's be real, you're also starting to compare the things that you're seeing visually in pornography or whatever, and you're like, yo, you don't do that. Why you don't do that?
Right.
And that's how you get some of these things where you want your spouse to try things that you're seeing in this video, and you're getting upset, when they don't. That can cause a disconnect. Or the fact that now you think about, are you sexually attracted to your spouse because you're getting aroused from this thing? So now it takes away from those things. Or I don't show gratitude for who you are and your body and those things because there's a comparison that you're constantly seeing. I would think that was one way that it impacted our marriage.
Absolutely. I think I need to give a little bit of background in the sense that as a single woman, I went to a woman's conference and I heard a married woman. She spoke to the single women and was just talking to us about marriage and, who we need to be. And so she said that, for your husband, you want to be his everything. You want to be his friend, his lover, his stripper, his teacher. Like, you want to be everything.
Right.
I took that literal. And so that in my head was like, ooh, I get to do personalities and like
that's some fun.
I get to unleash with my husband, right?
Yeah,
I didn't do this with anybody else. I get to unleash with my husband.
And all of these things.
Exactly. So in that, we allowed pornography into our relationship,
right,
because that wasn't something that I had ever experienced as a single woman. I was never into it, but my husband was. So in our relationship, we would watch it together. And so I bring that up because I know this is a touchy, taboo topic, right? And so many of my married friends are like, oh, clutch your pearls. We're talking about pornography. We're talking about role playing and outfits, and absolutely. The Bible says the marriage bed is undefiled. Okay. Right. So let's talk about that. You're married. You do what you want to do in your marriage bed. Okay. Right. However, you also have to be aware of the doors that these things are opening.
Absolutely.
So we allowed pornography to come into our marriage as a unit together.
Yeah, for sure.
Not realizing that we were opening the door to lust. We were opening the door to comparison and discontentment within our marriage.
That's good.
And that wasn't something that we figured out until we were probably a good three to 5 years in,
for sure,
before we realized, oh, this is a door that is open that we now need to close. Yeah. And so that even the pornography, the masturbation, all of that, all of those are doors. Yeah. And so this is real. Yeah. Regular marriages, regular people deal with this.
Right.
It's a part of the growth and the evolution of your relationship.
If we don't have a conversation about it, or if we don't have a married couple that is brave enough to talk about it and be transparent and allow the people to be a part of this, then it remains a secret. It
Absolutely.
Remains in the darkness, and now you don't understand why this disconnect is happening in your marriage, but you have this hidden thing. And you think no one else is going through it. Again, bringing up like what I said last episode with Pastor Turan, when he talked about his thing with lust, his stronghold with lust at the time that he had broken. That one made him more relatable, and it made me where I felt safe enough to talk to him about the things that I was going through. And it also helped me to be submissive towards this man when it came to premarital counseling. We did 16 weeks with him.
16 long
so
weeks.
I trusted the things that he wanted and asked me to do in order to make sure I brought a whole man into our marriage. I trusted him because that level of transparency, because I knew he had been through that. And when you don't think anybody else, when you don't think anybody else is going through this, and you're the only one, then there's a level of shame.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's where the enemy is able to just run rapid when you're in shame.
Hold you hostage.
Yeah, absolutely. And now with shame comes separation. Now it's like Kevin Hart, I forget what show this is. Well, Kevin Hart was literally, he talked about it in one of his comedy specials too, but he's a stay-at-home dad. Mm-hmm. And
it was a movie.
It was a movie, and his wife went out of town, and my man had the candles, he had the music.
Oh my gosh.
He waited for his wife to leave. So now he's about to, enjoy himself, whatever. And then she ended up coming back. But I think that's a great depiction of what I'm seeing, which is it's not like you're doing this in the open.
Right.
It's not like that you're openly discussing this. This is a level of secrecy. You're secretly doing this. You're secretly, looking up. You're doing the incognito pages, and you're waiting for the person to leave or go to sleep or all of those things. These are clear indicators that your connection with God is lost. So therefore your connection with your spouse or your family is going to be lost as well.
And you could be listening to this and saying well, I don't see anything wrong with pornography. It works in our relationship. I don't see anything wrong with masturbation. It works for us. I'm just going to say, if you are doing these things in secret, whether you're verbally saying you don't see anything wrong or not, if you are doing them in secret, internally you know there's something wrong.
Right.
Like internally you know that this is not acceptable to be outwardly exposed and spoken, and therefore that is conviction that you got to check it.
Right, for sure.
Like it's not something that if you can't walk out on the block and say this is what I do.
Right. Well, I mean, people are way more open now
listen.
and talking about it. But I would even not just in secret if you're doing it, but so here's the thing. As I grow closer in God to God, right? There's certain things there's certain music that I'm just not going to listen to because it disrupts my spirit. It disrupts, right, the peace that I have within me.
Well,
right?
You're in a new season of your life.
For sure. But that season, only reason I'm in a new season of my life is because of the growth that I've had in God.
Absolutely.
Whereas maybe in college, I'm like, oh man, play that. We're in the club.
You're going to tell yourself that you're a millennial because you're out here, I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared.
You're on the outside of the club and you think,
he had hair.
I'm okay.
Look just like him. What was his name? I don't even remember his name. He looked just like him.
Okay. All right. Yes, I did have, I had braids and everything. We'll have to pop up a picture or something but anyway, so what I'm saying is that even if you are doing it, right, the closer you get to God, if this is something that is in your life that that is, well, maybe you don't know, but as you get closer to God, you will realize that, dang, this is a door that is open for lust. And
that's the lust.
Exactly. And now because of this level of lust that I have, now we're going to go to like the next thing we're talking about is this is going to cause you to compare your spouse, whether male or female. You're going to start to compare your spouse. And then you're going to look at your spouse and say, why don't you have this? And why there's so many women that are dying because of BBLs or because they're altering their bodies and all of those things. There's a pressure that the world is putting on you to alter yourself.
Absolutely.
And the worst place that pressure can come from is somebody that says they love you for who you are. And now because what they're seeing, they're putting that same pressure on you. All because lust has entered this place. All because what you're seeing in pornography. In the last episode, we talked about this guy was like, yo, I want to bring somebody else in and for a threesome. Where else do you see that at?
Right.
Other than, you saw that in porn. You visually saw that and now you're like, I want to try that.
Or you heard it in a song.
Yeah.
You heard
Exactly. So now you're bringing that to your spouse or to your loved one and you're like, this is what I desire. You don't know that this is lust. You had a door that was open and now you're bringing it here. And that became the fall of your relationship.
And we're using these very strong terms like pornography, like lust. And I think me personally, coming from the 90s, I think about like the dirty magazines or it was a video or on the computer or something like that. However, the enemy evolves just like everything else does, right? And the Bible says that the devil moves subtly.
Yeah.
So now, we don't have traditional porn. We have Instagram models.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Like we have half-dressed people on social media constantly. And I'm not knocking nobody who's putting out the pictures because that's your way to get your money and all that. I'm not telling you to change your life. You do whatever the Lord leads you to do. What I'm saying is, as a person who is married, as a person who's trying to create this connection and this covenant with this person, I can't be out here looking at all these half-naked men putting up these videos. And I'm like, Jesus, what is happening? Because then that gets me to now comparing my husband.
Right, for sure.
Now because you have no idea what this perfectly polished individual went through, one, to get there, and two, what they do to stay there.
Right, for sure.
You have no idea their quality of life.
Yeah.
But and yet I'm gonna look at that picture and now look at this man that I'm with every day in the trenches.
Yes.
And telling him, hey, you see homeboy right there?
Right. Because I was with you when we was shooting in the gym. In the gym. Okay. No lights in the gym.
Not even in the gym, in the milk crate.
In the milk crate? Okay.
We was on the block shooting in the milk crate. Okay.
So there's even a guy I saw that his whole thing is catching these Instagram people that does Photoshops. And I was like, because his whole thing was like, they're putting out these pictures and you're becoming obsessed with the way their body is.
Yep. So you out here killing yourself to meet an expectation that they ain't even got.
They haven't even met the expectation. And they're altering themselves. Okay. And so when you look at it, there is a pressure that may be coming from your spouse now because they're visually seeing something. And then there's a pressure that's coming from the internet itself because they're showing you how you should look and how you're not meeting the expectation of the world. And then when you look in the mirror, now there's a pressure coming from you because you're not, you're not happy with yourself as well. But you don't really even understand those are not your thoughts. These are thoughts that have been planted into you. Now, what I will say is if you yourself are unhappy with where you are, then make the changes. As we're on our healing journey and our weight loss journey. Shout out to that because we desire to do some other things, try some other positions. All of the
I told you he's inappropriate. Yeah, no, borderline inappropriate.
We just said we have plans.
We got plans. We want to go to Europe. We want to go to Spain. We're going to try new positions. Like,
the way we want to move is sports with our kids and when we are on stages and things like that. I just want to
be here.
And live. Yeah, for sure.
I think that in getting caught up in looking at all of these pictures, all of these videos, all of these photos, and it's not just of people, it could be of houses, it could be of all these different things.
That's good.
You forget to be grateful for the blessings and the gifts and the things that you have. Yeah. While, yes, we are on our own health and weight loss journey, physical fitness, I'm still very grateful for the functioning of my body. I am grateful for the body that I have. I am grateful that
Me too.
I am not where I used to be, physically. I am just grateful, and I wake up every day with gratitude that God gave me a new day to breathe again, to try it again, to figure it all out. And so if I sat and just constantly looked at social media, just doom scrolled, I could find myself, and I have in the past, found myself being real ungrateful for what I had. Like, man, you see this house? I like that house. That's what I want. Mm-hmm. Not really grateful for the idea and the fact that God has tripled the house that I used to have.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And not only tripled it, but blessed me beyond my wildest dreams, right? To where you can say, you went to Florida, you went to Puerto Rico for 2 weeks, you went to Dubai, you went to Jamaica. Yeah, all of these things, they were not even a dream or a possibility 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
7 years ago, 10 years ago. And so it's like, you can't lose sight and perspective. And I think that's what scrolling social media, that's what watching traditional pornography, that's what that comparison does. It makes you resent what you have and not be grateful and not live a life of gratitude. Living a life of gratitude is difficult. I'm not going to be faint. It's difficult, right? To constantly be aware of that. But when it's brought to the forefront, when you're triggered, I'm often like, when I'm complaining, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
3 kids, whoo. They take my energy, and I'm like, God.
But we pray for these kids.
Instantly. Yeah. The Holy Spirit is like, remember you wanted 6.
Yeah.
You asked for this.
And remember when we cried, when we had 20 negative tests in the drawer when we were trying to have our daughter, and we had pastor praying over your womb and all of those things. And
prophesying, you shall have babies.
All of that stuff. And now it's like,
my daughter was a teenager, you bring your attitude. And I'm like, God?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, well, hey, this is what, and it's not, hey, this is what you pray for, you better shut your mouth. No, but it's really like, you have a healthy, healed, fully functioning, very minimal trauma. Their trauma is, mama might raise her voice every now and then. You might have got your butt popped every so often, but it's not the same. Okay.
She is a whole mama thug out here. Okay.
I've been thugging my whole life.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just letting y'all know I was out there.
There's a level of like, so we're talking about coveting these other things,
Absolutely.
right? There is, I stop and watch, and I promise you, like, I about boo-hoo every time. There's a father and son. There's this guy. His son has like full body brace on, and he also has this thing that he has to walk with. You know who I'm talking about? Oh my God! And he's the level of patience that he is demonstrating with his son to be able to walk and to do what is considered normal things, and the level of fight that his son has, and he does these self-talks with himself. Like, so his son is just doing stuff like, I just want you to get yourself down this curb and without falling and be able to stand up. And it's hard for him to hold his body up and all of that stuff. And I'm seeing this and I'm like, God, I'm so grateful that this is not like, I see that and I'm inspired by this father. Shout out to him.
By his patience, his love,
his
endurance.
consistency,
Yeah.
his all of those things. And I'm so happy he's putting it up because it instantly puts me in a state of gratitude.
Absolutely.
I see my son is running around the house.
And you like, sit down. No, you ain't gonna say that now because you're thinking like,
exactly.
Praise God that you have the
him
ability
for
to run.
climbing on the couches. Now I don't want you to climb on the couch. That's why our pillows are a little smashed now. But when I see this, I'm like, that man would love to be able to see his son climbing on the couches and all of that stuff. And it instantly puts me back in a state of gratitude.
Absolutely, that's good.
When you're in a state of gratitude, you see life different. You see your spouse different. You see those things different. There was a point, so my, you know this, my husband's circle, my friends that I hang out with and that I allow to pour into me, we have this thing called ministry. Is a word that if you're ever at a point where you are feeling alone or you're at the highest level of anger in your marriage or you're considering like, I'm ready to get out of here, you type the word ministry. I don't care what you all are doing. One of y'all better hit me right away. Right. And I remember I said the word ministry and within like 10 minutes, it's like 4 of us on a Zoom call. And one of my guys, the first thing he says is like, I want you to list 10 things that you're grateful for with your wife. In order for me to do that, you
had to change the stance, the perspective immediately.
He took me out of this anger that I wanted to be in. He took me out of this. No, she always do this. And he started off, he's like, you'll be a fool to think you got here by yourself. Can you tell me 10 things that you're grateful for? And I named 3. He was like, okay, keep going.
7
by 10, I'm like, okay, all right, what is this?
She ain't that bad.
Yeah, I said, it's not that big of a deal. I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm ready to reconcile. I'm ready to have a conversation with you now and go out. But if we stay in that comparison,
that's what I was about to say.
Ultimately, what's going to happen is, or we don't have somebody that helps us out of it. Ultimately, what happens is now we are disconnected. We're thinking about divorce. We're like, oh, you ain't the woman. I'm no longer attracted to you. You know,
that resentment is running the ship
for sure.
And so it's like,
there we go.
That resentment. So your friend circle, you having that word and you waving your red flag. Oh, hey, I need help over here. Or white flag, I need help over here.
Yeah.
And your friend circle coming in is what is able to break the hold that resentment has.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you don't have those circles, you don't have those people who you can connect to, and you just deal with it on your own.
Yeah.
Be it, because I know there have been seasons where I'm feeling some type of way 100%, but I don't want to talk to nobody about it. I'll work it out on my own. And so I'm thinking I'm working it out on my own. I done journaled to the end of time. I've gone to therapy. I've done all these things. But the next thing you do, I'm looking at you.
Oh, for sure.
And inside, like, that resentment is still leading the show.
Right.
That resentment is still, see, I told you.
Yep.
Like, he ain't gonna do it. He ain't never gonna get right.
Yeah.
This what this is.
For
and
sure.
so that you need
We've been
to
dealing
have
with this for doggone 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah,
The laundry still ain't in the basket. So it's like
this has got to stop.
I agree. What I'm saying though,
by the next season.
by the next 2027. So what I'm saying though is you have to have that healthy outlet and connection. Like you have to have that sounding board that you can go to that will give you life and love and healing.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's a good note. We gonna pause for our break. So we gotta pay the bills. Yes, we do. Praise them.
We're gonna go pay some bills, y'all.
We'll see you in a minute.
Right back after we pay some bills to ourselves. All right, so listen, hopefully you are enjoying this episode and it is being impactful in your life. Well, why not do the necessary steps to make sure you don't miss anything? All right, by subscribing to the podcast, Healing is a Lifestyle. You can also visit our website, healingisalifestyle.com, and you can then follow us on all our social medias there as well. We may have some other goodies for you as well. So let's go ahead and get back to the episode. Thank you all so much for being here and listening. Let's get it.
So welcome back. Paid some bills. So listen, as we do this podcast together and we start this journey, my goal each episode is just to see how many times I can truly annoy you with my slogans and the different things that I'm going to say.
Or you may be speaking into existence that we're going to have a sponsor right there.
We absolutely are going to have a sponsor right there.
Somebody that's not us. Yeah.
Absolutely. But we can still sponsor.
No. I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, I am somebody.
Okay.
I know. Right. Okay. Anyway. So the question at hand, is it emotional cheating to compare your spouse to someone else?
Oh man. It depends. Well, let me not even say it depends. I'm going to say yes. Okay. But here's the thing. You've gotten to a point where you've emotionally or visually attached yourself to this person that you want to start seeing that person in your spouse. So therefore there is some emotional cheating there for sure.
There's an aspect of fantasy.
For sure. That is there. And that's what can cause like the resentment, the disconnect and all of that stuff, I would say. And it's like, but is that the same thing as when you have a fantasy and we recreate that fantasy of some sort? Like we're like, oh, let's do a race car. Well, we do
I don't believe those are the same thing.
Okay.
Because you're not seeing your spouse. You're seeing this other individual and lusting after them.
I got you.
You're telling yourself, if my spouse looked like them, I would be as excited that it was my spouse.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I'm going to his page.
Yeah, for sure.
Every time to look and to scroll and to fantasize about what it would be like.
For sure.
I'm not seeing your face.
Yeah.
Like that's just not going to happen.
Absolutely.
You're not seeing your spouse's face. You're seeing that individual and then you tell yourself, I just need my spouse to look like this. No. You've began to make this emotional connection with this individual who you do not know from Adam. You do not know who they are or what they do.
Or you have an emotional connection with a person. Maybe you all haven't done anything physical or anything like that. But
somebody in so it's not even online. Like it's somebody you see every day at the gym or you see every day at work or you know what I'm saying? Like absolutely. You've created this connection with this person and they are taking a space that your spouse should have.
For sure.
Versus what you brought up of, I want to be a race car driver today. And,
yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
That's different. You see me.
Yeah.
I'm in the outfit.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm telling you to come in for a pit stop.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay? Like you see me. God. You know what I'm saying?
What are we doing here?
Listen, you know what's funny? When we had, because I told y'all, I'm normally
he's
spicy.
This is crazy.
He's spicy all the time. When we had these conversations ahead of time, we had to talk, and I'm like, babe, you know, don't be inappropriate. Don't take it too far. Don't
tell me not to be inappropriate.
And at the first opportunity, I'm taking it.
Coming in for a pit stop?
You said a race car driver.
Because we had the race car dress.
I remember the race car dress.
Okay, so that's why I was.
Cars come in for a pit stop at the race car.
Okay.
At the racetrack.
Okay, let's just go. Let's just move on. Okay.
Y'all tell me, was that too far? Was it inappropriate?
For
I
sure.
don't think so.
That was wild.
If I feel fine with it, I think it's fine.
That was wild. Okay, that was.
But
hear me.
The point
Which
of
camera?
that.
This camera. That was wild. Okay, her camera.
They can't see you.
That was wild. Our camera. That was wild. Okay.
The point.
I don't care what y'all say.
That
was wild.
The point of it is that I'm in the outfit. You see my face.
Yeah, for sure.
You might get a new personality. You might get a new wig.
Yeah.
But it's my face.
Yeah, for sure.
It's me that you're lusting after, not this other person who you don't know.
I fully agree. Right. Whereas like we can start the cheating here first. And that place is like, that's been lingering for a while then. And it could definitely, we go from here. So like in therapy, all right, shout out, your boy did start therapy. All right. And I text wife, he was like, yo, I can't do this every week. My man got me like,
listen,
he got me soft out here.
Y'all, we're not pausing.
Okay. I'll just,
in all your softness.
That was wild.
So the thing is, I've been doing therapy off and on since 2002.
Right.
So that's 23 years.
Right.
So for 23 years, I've gone on this roller coaster with different types of therapy, different modalities and things like that. My husband, modalities are different types of therapy. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Anyway, my husband.
My smart baby.
You say it again,
girl,
baby.
you're smart.
Say it again.
You are smart. You are kind. Okay.
Feel my heart. My husband just started his therapy journey, it was with
17.
COVID. No, it was with COVID. That's when you were meeting with the guy.
Oh, so maybe
wait, we did go
2019.
before him. So maybe like 2017, 2018, we went to couples therapy together.
No, I'm talking about like individual.
But individual,
like
yes.
2019.
So like 2019.
I only went for about maybe 6 months or something.
It was a few sessions.
It probably wasn't even that long.
And so, but fast forward to now, he's starting his own personal therapy healing journey.
For sure.
He's incorporating therapy, and this is where we're at. Tell him.
Yeah, no, it was just, so I'm bringing that up to say, in therapy, he talked about how these are just their thoughts. Thoughts become feelings. Mm-hmm. Like if we let it linger, then there's a feeling associated with this thought. And he was like, well, how long do you think a thought's supposed to last? I'm like, well, 10, 15 minutes. He's like, no, literally a thought come through in your head. It's just visiting 7 seconds. But he was like, what happens is that thought, we attach a feeling to it. And then that feeling, then the next thing is there's a reaction to it that you want. Like, so this feeling may have default reactions, right? So lust is in that same way. I remember there was a period where when we were dating in college, where anytime I felt rejected by you, or you had a boundary that I didn't agree with, or you setting a strong boundary, right? That thought of this is rejection. There's a feeling that goes with that, right? There's what do I do, or I'm feeling angry about this rejection, or I'm feeling like neglected, or I'm feeling like whatever. And now there's a default reaction to it. The default reaction was I would text somebody else because I wanted to feel like they would validate me in the way that I wanted to be validated.
They gave you what you felt you were missing.
They gave me what I felt, right? So that's the feeling. I feel like I'm missing something, and you are the reason why that was taken away. And so now there's a default reaction to that. And as we talk about this, when you're saying, is this mental part or is this emotional cheating? There's such a process that you're going through that it has to be looked at as cheating, because it started off as a thought, and because you didn't hold every thought captive, you didn't dismiss that thought, it then became a feeling, and that feeling started to create something else inside of you. The next step is reaction to that feeling of now maybe, and this is something maybe now I'm caught in a conversation I shouldn't have been in.
Yep, entertaining. I'm
entertaining the conversation, or maybe I'm flirting on a level that, and it's passive flirting. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's lingering there into a season where we're disconnected in our, and now I give myself permission to flirt or have the conversation because it's like, well, I'm feeling this way. So now, and that was the same thing with masturbation or whatever. Well, doesn't matter what you were going through or what mental barriers that you had. So, well, we haven't had sex in a week, so I deserve this. I got married so we can, so I wouldn't have to deal with this. But if you're not having sex with me, then I get to do this. Right? Thought is feeling, and then there's an action. There's an action behind it, right? So, and you know that you're actively doing this thing. You're aware of it. The entire time.
Absolutely. So. I know for me, we've had this conversation many a time with regard to connection and intimacy. And like, for me, it is much more intimate if we are creating an emotional connection versus a physical one. Yeah. Just based on, everything that I experienced in life. So if I'm to the point where I am creating an emotional connection with another man, that is somebody dial 911, sound the alarm. Right. For me, that's big. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that if I'm out here just sleeping with folks, it ain't big. It is big.
Right, for sure.
But that for me, that physical connection, it's not very big for me. Like it's not something that cause I'm not a super physical person. So that's not something that I care about. Right. But if I'm out here having long conversations.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Right. All hours of the night, you better shut that phone down.
Right, for sure.
You better talk to somebody, because she's out here and she's about to go somewhere.
Yeah.
She's about to leave you and these kids.
Right.
And they, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's real. I'm not about to leave. But when you get what I'm saying, like, that's how serious it is. Right. And I don't want to generalize and say that's a situation for women in general. I can just speak for me and say, I know that's for me. I do know a lot of women that I've spoken to who are like, absolutely, an emotional connection matters so much more to me than the physical connection. I even recall when we were in college and we were dating and you were entertaining other women and doing all of that kind of thing, you and I used to always go back and forth, because I'd be like, well, tell me who is it that you did XYZ with or whatever? And you're like, why you want to know? And I said, I just want to know. I want to know who they are. So one, like you were saying, you was doing your research. I don't want to be smiling in her face. Right, that's one. Sure. But then two, is she a continued issue? Right, like, are you talking to her?
Right.
Are you hanging out with her? Are y'all are friends? Because he was one of them guys who had he was friends with all of his exes. Weird. I don't know nothing about that.
I believe in healthy relationships.
I do too, but we ain't friends. There's a reason why you're an ex. But it's like, serious?
I think that might be another episode.
There's a reason why you're an ex.
Or have a female friends or whatever.
Absolutely, it is.
Or that exes or anything.
Yes. Okay. But it's like, if you're still maintaining that friendship and that connection through phone, through text, through whatever.
For sure.
No. That's not it for me. Like, that's too much. And that was many of the times. So we have been together 21 years, but 5 years was off and on because of situations like this, because we were both in our 20s and we were young and we were growing and we were trying to figure out who we are and what we wanted.
I think also in that, I would say, again, the term that we've been talking about this week as therapy is just opening up a lot. It's like, oh my God, this is crazy. But being underdeveloped.
Absolutely.
Right? So another term, whereas in college or throughout my college years, I was very much so underdeveloped as far as how to handle problems or breakups or, you know, creating solutions, you know, creating a healthy relationship or just being mature, period. I can see that now. Today, I didn't see that then, like the underdevelopment.
Absolutely.
So, and a lot of those relationships I've reconciled with, or family I've reconciled with. I've reconciled a lot within myself and been able to now grow from it. Yeah, but when you are underdeveloped, you allow a lot of things to just happen.
Absolutely.
You don't know how to you know, to come out.
You don't know
how
to navigate that season. You don't know how to endure and how to process and how to communicate.
Yeah. And in return, a lot of people get hurt in that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So this seems like a good place to put in a, you know, shameless plug and commercial.
Okay.
So we'll see y'all after this commercial.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Rochelle T. Parks. I am your health motivator. And if you know me, you know I don't play about health. That's why when it comes to fueling my body, I trust what works. And for me, that's Shakley all day, baby. From their clean energy to their essential nutrients, these products help me to stay sharp, strong, and consistent day in and day out. So whether you're trying to bounce back or just level up, you need clean fuel. Now, Shakley isn't just a trend. It's trusted, it's tested, and it's real. And this isn't just about supplements either, okay? It's a system that supports how I live. So if you're just getting started on your health journey, here are 4 essentials that I recommend for everyone. So you have your multivitamin, okay? That's going to fill your nutritional gaps and supports full body wellness. Then you have your omega-3 fatty acids. That will protect your heart, your brain, and your joints. Your vitamin D, that will support your immune function, your mood, and your bone health. And lastly, your probiotic. That will strengthen your gut health, your digestion, and your immunity. Guys, I use all 4 of these every single day, and Shakley makes it easy. Healing is a lifestyle. And if you're serious about transformation, it starts right here. I prepared a starter bundle you can use for your entire family. Plus, you'll find everything else you need for immune support or other clean products you use every single day. Listen, the link is in the description below. Go ahead and click that link, okay, and get you some Shakley today.
So this is a section that we like to call Who's at Fault, where we have people who listen on social media just submit us some scenarios, some questions, and we try to help them understand who's at fault. Now, we don't claim to be the experts, but we know a little bit. So.
Exactly. And we would love for you all to post your comments below if you have a scenario or a situation where you're like, yo, tell me who's at fault with this, and we'll definitely be willing to dig in.
You can also send that in DM if you're not comfortable with comments. Yeah. But today's person says, help me understand who's at fault if we don't save and who's at fault if the bill isn't paid on time. So this is a financial situation.
Right.
Last episode, I spoke first.
Okay.
I'll let you speak first this time.
So I'm going to, let me say, I got a lot I want to say about this. The first thing I want to say is that the man as the head of the household is absolutely at fault. And this is why I'm saying at fault, not necessarily because he has to be the one responsible to do it, but I think the man should be the one to establish, like, hey, we need to get this in place. Whether it's you doing it or me doing it, you're put in position to steward your family and to make sure that your family is safe and protected, which is why it didn't matter what you did. When we lost our home back in 2012 or 13 and we had to stay in a friend's basement while we were recouping, I came to you and I apologized and asked for your forgiveness, because I don't care what happened. As the leader and as the head, this is on me to make sure that there's stability, that there's protection, and that there's a plan in place for us to be able to continue to move. Now, in establishing that, if I know that I'm not the best person with the numbers, then I'm going to say, hey, babe, we need to have this in place. Can you take this on? Like, so just with us, period, I'm the saver. Like, I'm like, saving is my thing. Like, I'm going to save. Now, but you're the responsible one when it comes to having like everything automated, being up on the bills, open the mail, and making sure we're up to date on all of these things. And you're like, well, we want to pay off this and, you know, all of these things. So it's like, okay, cool. You do that. Now, I also am the one that's like, I want to be responsible for bringing in the revenue. Okay, I'll do that part. So when we bring it in, here's the distribution process. I'm going to make sure we're saving. You're making sure we manage the funds correctly, the personal funds that we're making. All right. And hey, making sure we have all these things. So in this case, if a bill doesn't get paid, then now it's going to be like, hey, babe, what happened there? You know what I'm saying? We had a plan established. If there's no plan established, then again, I'm going to go to the man.
Okay.
If there's a plan established, I'm going to go to the person that was supposed to do that part of the plan. That's the person at fault in that situation. That's how I'm going to look at it.
So I think that in essence, we believe very similarly as far as the structure and the setup, but we're different in who's at fault.
Okay.
Because I believe they both are at fault. And this is not going to be a common theme. I said the last thing last
both
time.
At fault.
I know I said the last thing last time, but listen, there's a lack of communication. There's a lack of direction that's happening. And while, yes, I agree and understand that biblically the man is the head, it's God, the man, the wife, the family. I understand that. I also believe as your partner in this, it's my responsibility to make sure that we have structures and systems in place and that we communicate these things.
Absolutely.
So if you are not led to say, we need a plan for paying the bills and doing this type of thing, it's my responsibility to say, hey, what's the plan with this? What are we going to do?
Right.
You know, to have that conversation.
Right.
And vice versa. If she's not doing it, one of y'all got to step up. Like there needs to be.
Well, it is established who should be
He's the
initial,
head.
Right. The initial person
But there needs to be an entire checklist of all the things, and that's what you get in marriage counseling. So that's another thing. Like, did y'all go to marriage counseling? Because, you know, in marriage counseling, we learned the number,
yeah, for sure.
Top 3-4 killers of marriage: finance, sex, family. What's the other?
In-laws.
And in-laws. And in-laws. That's the top 4.
That was the thing.
So it's like, yeah, finance, sex.
In-laws was number 3.
In-laws. There was one more. Is that the top 3? Yeah. Finance, sex, and in-laws. Okay. But regardless, you have to have some type of a checklist or something to identify. These are the things that are hot topics in our marriage that we need to set the parameters for from the beginning.
For sure.
Finances is one of those.
But I'm going to take it on myself to, now, I'm not going to do the checklist, but I'm going to take it upon myself to say, hey, babe, we need to start establishing these things. And here's where your skill set comes in to where you're like, hey, oh, snap, I don't even have the mic. Should we start over?
No.
Oh, it's okay.
It was fun.
It's okay. Like, we can keep that in there too. All right. We can keep that in there. It's all good. All right. So, but I'm going to take it upon myself to be the one okay. So when we think about something that women truly want is to feel safe and to have stability, right? So one of my things is, protecting and providing, right? So it's going to be up to me to say, hey, we need to start implementing these things. And especially if this is my area, I would say like finances itself is just naturally my area. Absolutely. But I'm not going to say, well, I'm all knowing of it. I don't want you to touch it. Instead, I'm going to say, here's what we need to establish. And then based off of our skill sets, now it's like, can you do this part? Can I do this part? Right? Just like education is your area, right? You're going to take the lead in education. Just like when our daughter, you looking at the grades and our daughter, you saw that she was not as dominant in math, proficient in math. So you took it upon yourself like, hey, babe, here's what we need to do. I'm going to start looking for this. this is how much we need to start setting aside. This is how much needs to happen in order for us to be able to, pay for this tutoring and stuff. That's just teamwork.
So I agree, and I know you see I'm making faces. I agree.
It's okay.
I agree with you in what you're saying, and like identifying what your strengths are, what your ministry is, and you taking the lead in that space. My faces more so have to do with, I think I was ahead of my time when it came to like gender roles and gender equality, because you say, well, most women want to feel secure and they want to feel, provided for?
No, stability.
Stability, right.
Yeah. You still fall under that category for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I would say that you want the same thing. You want to feel secure or safe and stable. That's not a gender thing.
That's not my first priority though, because I would say, hey babe, I got a new idea. We all need to move into a 1-bedroom apartment real quick.
And I would say you're tripping. That's not about to happen.
Exactly. So I'm willing to give up the stability for a future thing. You know what I'm saying?
Like I'm willing to take that's an individual person preference. I don't think that that's a gender thing. So that's where my faces come from, is when we go back into this idea.
I think that's a good question. Is
societal
that you all comment
gender
below?
Roles.
Is stability is that something both men and women want? I think if I'm looking at stability, I'm more so wanting stability in your behavior or your attitude or your emotions, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily like,
you want stability in housing too.
Yes, but that's the provider.
Agreed,
part,
but you want financial stability.
Absolutely.
So it's not a gender thing. That's all my thing. And so when
we want stability in different areas, then
I would challenge that we don't though. So I make a lot of faces.
Look at that.
And I do a lot of things when I hear conversations surrounding gender roles, because I don't think that we ascribe to that. I don't think that. For sure. I think that.
But one thing that I always subscribe to as being the head or being the leader, I'm going to, even when it comes to running to forgiveness, I'm going to do my best to beat you at that, because I'm going to set the standard there.
I win sometimes though.
You win sometimes, but I win majority of the time.
I don't know. Majority is such a strong word.
Yeah, majority. But I subscribe to, like, I'm going to steward my family. I'm going to be a provider. I'm going to do those things. That's one thing that, we still. But I also believe in, like, hey, babe, this is your thing. This is your ministry.
Right.
Run that.
Right.
Just like you was talking about, well, babe, I'll go mow the lawn. Go ahead.
I sure will.
Go mow that thing. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, I've done it. I'm not with it.
That's not my ministry.
We can either hire somebody, which we've ultimately done, but wife was like, well,
he's not mowing, he's not building.
I'm not a hands person, so I'm a delegator. So it's like, hey, get somebody in here to go ahead and do that. However, if you're saying you want to do it, cool. Now, there are things that, for me, you're not going to touch your garbage, especially not while there's 3 men in this house, or, a man and 2 boys in this house. If I'm in the car, you're not about to pump your gas, things like that. So there are things in that I'm still opening your doors.
I'm going to let him do all of it too.
Yeah. I'm going to still open doors and all of those things. I think those things are still important.
So I'm saying they both at fault. He's saying the man's at fault. You tell us who you think is at fault.
Yes,
put that down there in the comments.
Go ahead and put it in the comments. I would love to know that I'm right. So
but final thoughts. One thing to just talk about is, what stability looks like in our relationship. Honestly, I believe, because, we talk about, there are all different types. We talk about financial stability. We talk about all these. Ultimately, the root of stability is communication and connection, and identifying what that very thing is, that expectation or that boundary that you have that you need to meet or avoid.
Yeah.
I think, like, financial, we're different in, like, financial is not my worry. It's not my concern. And it's not because I put all of that weight on him, but it's because God has created me in my heart to value and pursue other things.
For sure. I think that for me is stability, is when we're both aware of what we want our thing to look like. And it's something
Absolutely.
that you've always talked about. You know, we had our parent thing. This is their thing. Over here, I had my parent, you know, my family's thing. But then when we said we were going to be married, we were like, let's create our thing.
Our thing.
This
Absolutely.
is going to be how we navigate life. And once that is in place and we know how that's stability to me.
Absolutely.
Is we're not looking at based off of them, but we're basing it off of what we want. So,
absolutely. And, you know, I would say that healing starts when you stop hiding in your relationship, when you stop keeping secrets from your spouse. This is your teammate. This is your partner. You need to talk to your spouse. You need to have that open, honest communication. That was one thing that I think has given us the longevity that we have had. The 21 years in, the 16 years married, that was something that we had as singles, to the point of almost like being delulu, having conversations about dating other people and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, you better stop. Like, you know, you my husband. And it's like, but that's what kept us. That is what kept us strong to where today we can have conversations and say, we can have an intense fellowship and come back and say, so you know I don't like you, right? Like, you know,
that is true.
You know that was whack. Like, in that order, in that way, and not be offended, you know, and have that honest conversation. And even if it is a space of offense, the one saying, too soon.
No,
like, don't come here with that energy right now. It's too soon. This is not a place of peace. But it comes from being able to talk to your spouse.
Absolutely. And so what I would just say to you all is continue on your journey of wholeness. All right. Just remember that healing is a lifestyle. It is not a destination. It is all together. It's absolutely a lifestyle. And if you pursue God, then you will find wholeness in that, and you will start to reconcile everything else around you and see that increase. So
absolutely. So next week, we're talking about how to go from roommates to reconnection. You don't want to miss that one.
I get it.
Till then.